ho, Lions fans. Welcome to the Detroit Lions podcast. This is episode 575. The Detroit Lions 2025. That's 2025 season kickoff. And we're getting you ready for it. This is the official Detroit Lions podcast for Reddit. I'm your dashing host, Chris. And with me is my good friend and freshly back from on location co-host, Jeff the Risdon. How you doing, brother?
I'm happy that I'm here. I'm glad that we're doing this. I'm praying to God that my internet holds out and we can get through a show and have some fun talking about the Lions.
Yeah.
And real football.
Football. We'll do it. All right. We're going to keep rocking and rolling. We've got, if some of you may notice, we've got some of the, we got the comments back running. We'll get you in there and make sure we got that coming. So they're
new. Down there. I can read them.
How about that, right? Oh, the show brings pure joy and happiness. Thank you, Donkey Kong. Super Bowl or bust.
That's nice. Thank you.
All right, let's see. Today's show, we're going to talk about it. Football is finally here. The national media has been dragging the Lions a little bit. Let's talk about that. Why, what, where, when, all that kind of stuff. What's going on? Do a little question about our question marks, or a conversation about our question marks for 2025. And of course, as we see all over the chat, we've got FTP previewing and making picks for the Detroit Lions and the Green Bay Packers. Got a whole lot going on. All that, a lot more. Riz, are you ready to go, my brother?
Let's do it.
Whoa.
Let's kick this off and break it down.
Right.
FTP does not mean file transfer protocol, by the way. It could, but it doesn't in this case.
No, it does not. Not here, not today. Okay, yeah, so let's just talk about this right now. First and foremost, football is back. And Justin McLean, you're here, you're saying it. It is Hutch return week. Dude, that's so fucking cool. I want to start off, well, we're going to preview the game, so I'll save this for later. But my question, Riz, is going to be Hutch or Micah, and which offensive line would you rather be? So just hold that in your hat. We're going to talk about that a little bit later because I think that's going to be a fun conversation. But we'll get to it. Football's here.
I just happen to have a Lions.
What's going on? For us, it's us guys tonight. We're live. We're doing it here on a Wednesday night and doing it live. Tomorrow at noon, Bish and Brown are back kicking off their season. We've got a post-game show after the Lions game this week with me and Mr. Michael Gray. So we'll be doing that. All kinds of wild stuff going on. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun, man. What besides college? We got to step back because I know you just poured it on this weekend. I did too. I watched a whole lot of games. Florida State was a fun game to watch. Actually, I enjoyed that one. I thought they were going to get dragged, but it was good to see Alabama kind of choke on the.
They wiped Alabama. I was at Ohio University this weekend with my daughter and wife doing volleyball related stuff, so I didn't get to watch a ton of it. We did go out Saturday night. We watched the Michigan-New Mexico game at a place in Athens, Ohio. And you'd be surprised at how many Michigan fans were there. There was a pretty sizable cheering contingency there. Remember, it's Ohio, not Ohio State. And our Buckeyes were Bobcats. Thank you very much.
Never heard of them.
We also watched Notre Dame and Clemson was going on, and some other games were going on too. But yeah, I actually did some film study yesterday. Tuesday is my film day, and since there wasn't any NFL film, it was all college, just trying to get caught up. Illinois got some dudes, man, for draft stuff. I only watch college football for NFL draft scouting purposes. Illinois got some fun people that I think the Lions, and by the way, the Lions were there. Might want to pay attention to Illinois football this year. Just saying.
Yeah, I'll tell you, I love college football just because, especially week one. Because of the game. It's just so fun to finally see football for real again and in earnest. The other part is I love betting on college football. I love it.
The truth comes out.
No. I to be fair, right? And this is you people are gonna look at the people that actually enjoy gambling a lot are look at me and say what a piece of F you, and the people that don't like it are still gonna say F you. So this is like a completely not winning position. But I put $100 into my account like 5 years ago, and I think I bet like $160. Like I don't bet much at all. Like it's like meaningless amount of money, but it just makes it so much more fun to watch a game. And like I'll bet long shots or some goofy games or whatever here and there, or just take like just because it's just for entertainment, right? But I'm ahead, and I've been playing on the same $100 forever. It's fun. It's fun. I know I'm not going to make money doing it. You know what I mean? So I just kind of just have fun with it and do my thing. So.
And that's what gambling is supposed to be about. It's supposed to be entertainment. Don't spend what you can't afford to lose. But if you're going to spend it on beer or gambling, you might want to gamble a little bit. If you're going to spend it on the latest Call of Duty or something like that, it replaces that. That's discretionary income. I'm not a gamer much, so I don't know what's up with the games. All I know is that Civ 7 sucks. I want my money back for Axis. That game's awful.
It's the year to jump to Battlefield, my friend. I know there's a lot of Call of Duty fans that won't believe it, but I won't go with that. But as a longtime Call of Duty guy, Battlefield was a ton of fun, and I think Activision needs to be taught a lesson. Anyway, let's talk about football. Let's talk about football. Okay, so Football's back tomorrow night. We've got a game, my friend. We've got a game. Let's talk about it. Who's playing? What can we watch? Besides horrific officiating, what can we expect? Because there's always an absolute ass call week one. You know that. In game one, week one. It's
absolutely.
The most embarrassing call of the year generally happens in that game for the NFL. So.
And so we get Dallas and Philly Thursday night. Like, is there anybody that... It's easy to root for the underdog when they're playing the world champion. But is anybody really going to be rooting for Dallas? That's a tough team to embrace right at the moment, including for Cowboys fans. I don't, I'm probably in the minority on this. I don't like having big games in week one. I don't like that Detroit and Green Bay are playing.
Yep.
I don't like these, marquee matchups, although Dallas is probably a last place team. I think the Giants are better than them. So maybe this isn't much of a marquee, but Dallas is a marquee team.
Mm-hmm.
I want to play like Pittsburgh or
like an off conference game is perfect in week one because look, number one, everybody's tuning in. Everybody is starving for NFL football. These matchups mean nothing for the ratings. Every team's maximum fanage is going to watch this week. Save those bullets for week 3, 4, 5, and when you have more reality with the refs and the players and everything else. This is week one, especially is kind of a throwaway game, right? Great game to play against the Chiefs when we did that and when we were able to beat them and when they were trying to hoist their banner. Look, if you're playing against Micah Parsons, sure. When he's hurt still a little bit, game one, that's fine. It's still a division game, and there's too much just randomness, and that's one of the reasons the Call of Duty sucks these days. There's just too much randomness in it, and there's no control over. There's not as much control over victory in week one games.
I agree. So it's frustrating in that standpoint, but from the Micah Parsons standpoint, he's practiced twice, and he's hurt.
Yeah.
It's not a hurt, like he'll be fine, but he also hasn't practiced all summer. He's had 2 practices of football, actual contact football, since the Cowboys were eliminated last year, sometime around Thanksgiving.
And he's got like a higher likelihood of injury because of that, both physical and emotional. And I think he's going to walk away with an additional injury, an emotional one after this week, right? I mean, because
he's certainly an emotional guy. That's what he is.
He is the line, but he's coming in, and there's a lot of love for these Packers this week. And we'll talk about the national.
Crazy.
It's weird, isn't it? Isn't it just weird?
It's very weird. So one thing that is uniting Lions and Vikings fans right now is how much love the Packers are getting. Befuddling.
Yes. All right. So what else? Bish and Brown post-game show. We're going to see Ash sprinkled in around doing his thing. A lot of fun. Anything else kind of signaling the kickoff of football, the start of football here? Or can we move on to our next topic, my friend?
Let's go on. We're all going to enjoy watching the game tomorrow night. There will be mistakes. Philly will win like 30-10, 30-17. And I don't know. They're back. They're good. They're a good football team. They're the team to beat.
Nice. Don Burr is here. How you doing, Burr? Okay, football's out here. Let's go on. National media dragging the Lions. This is a weird one. And I'm of a couple of minds on this, Riz, and I definitely want to hear what you have to say, but I'll kind of kick us into it here. I'll just start by saying the Lions love being an underdog, and the fans, to be honest with you, kind of are better off in that underdog position and used to it. But how weird is it that the national media is treating the Lions and even this game the way they are? Because none of the real signs point to what is being talked about. It's really strange to me.
It's funny how everybody was so quick to abandon ship. I'm talking nationally, and it's not everybody nationally. There are still a lot of people who think that interestingly, the former players, guys like Cam Newton and Gronk and Ryan Clark, they're all still about the Lions. It's the people that are, talking heads.
Yep.
That were like, they couldn't wait to jump off of Dan Campbell and the Lions and jump to Green Bay for one transaction. Okay. Yeah, Micah Parsons, I talked about this in a little video that I shot. He makes them better. He's a dynamic difference maker. Yeah. They didn't have any of those guys. Now they have one. That helps them.
Yep.
He's not going to help them score points. Their offense has a lot of question marks, a lot more question marks than the Lions do. Who's a number one receiver? Who's a number two receiver? Can any of those guys stay healthy? Can they run block at all? They couldn't last year. Like they've got some talent on that team, and they deserve some love. But to put them over the Lions, actually, the huge one, and I did this exercise today.
Mm-hmm.
We went through every player on the Packers offense who would start on the Lions. There were two. We went to the defensive side of the ball. There were 3. Maybe 4. Like it's the third linebacker is the debate. That's the flex one.
Right.
That's it.
It's just listening to the media, right? Now, look, you've got Detroit. I mean, you've got people, grandma, the boss, the foreman, kids, classrooms everywhere, just chanting. Quietly, they're saying it. A little bit of FTP out there. That's good. That's good for us. The reality is,
that was like a lead into Mr. Tinker Train.
We had a teacher actually get his gym class to do this for us. There it is. We got it better. And they were like, he convinced him that it was for the pylons, like a game they were playing, but he got the whole class, this elementary school class, to chant FTP. It was great.
That's the sort of subversive teaching methods that I approve of.
Yeah, there you go.
I aspired to that as a teacher, and I wasn't good enough to make it happen. I'm sorry. Sorry to my students back at Peabody Middle School in Petersburg, Virginia.
Can we talk about one thing with this that I think is important? And it's a lot of what drives many of these narratives is not honesty, reality, whatever else is going on in the space of just the world. What the world has become, and it's top to bottom. Any kind of news, it's all about generating clicks right now. F tomorrow. To hell with any kind of credibility. None of it matters because people will still click if you put these crazy things out there. And people's attention span is so short that when you absolutely make shit up, they'll forget about it and come back next week anyway, right? Because you got something really clicky and interesting to look at. When we talk about the Lions, and the Lions would be on track to have a good team in the past, everybody would drag them. They were always talking. And it's a little bit of playing the odds. The bad Lions team of 2020 and before is not going to win the Super Bowl, right? We can talk up some new players and they're a rebounder, but no one's ever going to predict them to win the division even. And it's easy to do that because all you have to do is be wrong once, and then finally you can't make the easy prediction anymore, right? You're just running the odds. It's the same thing now. The team is now, okay, there's 2 kind of NFC North championships, but to do it a third time is going to be kind of hard. Their schedule's really hard. We'll just, the likelihood of them three-peating, the numbers say, the odds are say no. And hey, we can rile up a bunch of fans and get clicks. So let's make the prediction and drive people in to come click on our bullshit and read it. But it's low effort junk, and it gets people talking about it. And that's the thing that's kind of crazy to me, because even us, we're sitting here talking about it, and because it doesn't make sense. You know what I mean? But it's about our team.
It feels like to me that the national media was ready for the Lions to not be the thing anymore. And it's like they've forgotten all the talent on the team. And everything's about what's missing. What's missing from last year? Ben Johnson's missing. Okay, we've talked about that very well. Everybody who's watched this show knows where we're at on that. Aaron Glenn is gone. I love AG. I think Kelvin Shepherd might be better for this specific group of players than what AG was.
Yep.
And no disrespect to AG whatsoever on that. I think Shepherd's the right man for the right job right now. I think this defense is really going to cook.
And I'll be fair. I think AG might be better as a coach anyway than just a coordinator right now. I think he has grown to that point where he's probably a better coach than he is coordinator. Sorry, I didn't interrupt, but
yeah, no, that's okay. And it sucks. I heard it on the radio today. That the Jets lost their best offensive lineman today to a torn triceps. Like, that's not the way AG needs to get things started.
No,
Elijah Vera Tucker out for the year. That's he's not Penei Sewell level, but he's Kevin Zeitler level. And so what else are the Lions missing from last year? Frank Ragnow and Kevin Zeitler. I'm not going to downplay those losses. Those guys are good players.
Mm-hmm.
The Lions have done a decent job of picking them up, but it's a realistic question from both inside and outside. How is the interior offensive line going to work? And how does Jared Goff handle a relative downgrade in his protection? That's a fair point. If you want to point to that, that's fine. If you're talking about that the offense is going to collapse because Ben Johnson is here, you're an idiot. You're not paying attention to what's happened in Detroit, what's happening in Detroit, and all those players in that locker room who have just posted the best offensive performance in team history. They led the league in scoring last year. They didn't lose any skill position players. They added one in Isaac Tesla, who's better than the guy that he's replacing in Tim Patrick. They're still very good at tackle, still very good at tight end, outstanding running backs, great run game. The core coaches, guys like Hank Fraley, Scotty Montgomery, Mark Brunell, they're back.
Mm-hmm.
Dan Campbell, this is his offense. Now, did Ben have input in it and influence on it? Yes, he did. Won't say that he didn't.
I hear people coming around to that now. That's nice to hear. It's nice to hear because it's very much the reality of it.
But you don't want to downplay Ben Johnson's significance, but it feels like the national media has gone so far the other direction in overplaying how important he was. And I think I'll say this from being in the media room with the guy, we're looking around the things that are being said about Ben Johnson and how integral he was in Detroit, it's simply not reality. From the people who've been there and watched it and covered it, that's not what happened in Detroit. Was Ben important? Yes. Was he irreplaceable? Hell no. That's not how it was. And it's hard because now as soon as I say something like that, Chicago fans are like, "Oh, you're dissing him." No, I'm putting him where he was good. He's a good coordinator, and there will be some changes to the offense. Some of them might actually be good. I like one of the changes that I've seen already. I like not having 6 offensive linemen on the field when I can get Gibbs and Monty in the backfield together in a goal line situation. I like that better.
Yeah, I think the other side of it
I might be wrong, but I like that.
And I'll just say, and we'll watch the season play out. But I will say this, that Ben Johnson knows his team sucks right now. And This year's
They're
going to be a
coming around
wash.
to that.
This is going to be a wash for those Bears, and there's going to be this is going to be hard because a lot of Bears fans are so hyped up right now. They're the dissonance on this is going to be just so make sure you relish in the pain. I don't know that he's going to be able to turn this team around, but with all the sausage choking garbage coming from Bears fans right now, just go ahead and let them have it because it's a great year to do it. They are so hype and so excited. I'm telling you, they know that it ain't it, and they're not managing expectations. This is one thing that Ben should have learned with when Brad and Dan Campbell took over. Ben should have learned the idea of let's temper expectations early and not talk about crazy things, right? And that's not their runaway there, and it's going to cause him longer term problems because I don't think he's going to turn that ship very fast. And if he doesn't,
I also don't think that he's in a tough spot because Chicago is so desperate to make it work with Caleb Williams, and Caleb Williams was a tough sell to a lot of that fan base. Mm-hmm. Still is to some, mm-hmm. But they had a really hard time. Like, oh yeah, this is our guy. I'm like, I don't know, man. He wasn't that great in college. He never got better in college. He's not a Chicago. He's not a Rust Belt kind of guy, to use the old pejorative term about our wonderful Great Lakes area. They finally start getting it, and now like they're trying to make. Chris, you know Ben Johnson a little. I know him a very little. I know Caleb Williams very little, but it seems like they're completely different people.
Yeah,
and it's like a forced marriage that you might have some happy times, but it's not going to end well. It just feels that way to me. I could be wrong on that. I freely admit that, but I don't feel it with. I think that Ben has a lot to learn about running the ship. And one of the things, and Chris, you and I saw this personally in Mobile, when the Lions were coaching down there, who did Dan Campbell have run the team? Deuce Staley.
Yep.
Aaron Glenn. Scotty Montgomery. Ben stayed in the shadows. He was never a guy that got the assistant head coach work. He was never a guy that went in and laid out the game plan for the team the way that I know
right.
Both AG and Kelvin Shepard have done that. Mm-hmm. I know Dave Phipp has done that. Mm-hmm. That's not what Ben was concerned with. And
Ben was a puzzle
was so
assembler.
Much more.
Ben put the pieces of the puzzle together. Yeah.
Yeah. There are so much more things that you have to be good at as a head coach than you do as a coordinator. And I'm not sure that Ben Johnson can do them. Maybe he can, maybe he can't. I'm certainly not going to give him, I'm not going to say affirmative, yes, he can do that. And Bears fans should know this very well because they once did this not too long ago. The guy named Mark Trestman, mm-hmm. offensive freaking genius, ruled the Canadian Football League with an innovative offense for up there. Came down here. And by the way, Mark Trestman was the Browns coordinator like at the end of their first run and did a pretty decent job at that too. Mm-hmm. He was an unmitigated disaster as a head coach because he didn't care about the defense. He didn't know. I worry about that for Ben because
he's great enough guy.
I still like Ben Johnson. Yeah. Yeah. I like the guy. Yeah. I hope that it works for him. I just hope that it's not in Chicago.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a tough place for him to learn. I do think, much like I thought about Jim Schwartz and still think about Jim Schwartz, wherever his second head coaching job is going to be where he has success.
Yeah.
I still think that Jim Schwartz would be a great coach for a team that needs to turn things around, like New Orleans after this year, or maybe Dallas. So, insert bad team here. Yeah. I still think he could run Cleveland.
He'd be a wild fit in Dallas. He would be a wild fit in Dallas. You know what I mean?
It'd be fun.
I think my prediction for the Bears is again, they know they're not good this year. My prediction is Ben's personality is when there's pressure and when things get really, he turns, into a not nice guy, I'll say. And that's not going to carry well.
Volcano.
It's not going to carry well as a head coach, especially so things start getting tough. That pressure is going to amp up. And if you're tempering expectations this year and then, okay, next year we're going to grow, people expect it. You've got a better ride. Like this came up in the chat from Black Lion. They're talking Super Bowl in Chicago this year. And when you go from that to like 4 wins, and I'm making up 4 wins. It's not my prediction, but you go to 4 wins, the pressure is going to just rocket to the top, and that's going to be hard. And that's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. So,
I forget when was it Brad that said it or Dan that said, why Chicago? I wonder that about Ben. Like, he had his choice of jobs. Why that one? That wasn't the best choice. That's a very difficult place to win. You're in a loaded division. As much as we're going to talk smack about the Packers and the Vikings, it's good football teams. Yeah. They're better than Chicago for sure.
Oh yeah.
That's a tough hill to climb with a quarterback that isn't very good at climbing. Feel bad for him almost. Yep. Not really because he chose it.
On the John Morton thing, we had Rob said for some reason national media gives John Morton zero respect. I don't know that he's necessarily kind of earned that big respect yet.
I agree.
And yeah. I think he'll get it when he earns it. And I even think it's inside the organization, and not that he's not getting respect, but he's being held a little closer, we'll say, than maybe Ben was before they kind of let him loose, right? That trust has got to build. They know him, they know who he is, but it's got to come together, and they know it. This is where, like we talk about it being, Dan Campbell's offense. He's what was it from Flintstones? You reference on the Great Gazoo. He's the guy that pulls all the strings on this, right? Like this is his thing, and he knows all the ins and outs of it. There you go. It's his to do whatever he wants with. So anyway, Tommy Williamson says it's even the local media. No, not just the national. I heard the flagship 2-6 yesterday say that our players suck in the playoffs. If we weren't missing a full defense, and we won 2-24. Yeah, it's gonna be fine. This Detroit Lions team is good. Don Burr says Chicago has one of the toughest schedules. Yes. Their strength of schedule right now is tied with the Lions for the most difficult in the league. So, put that.
Chicago or Green Bay and Minnesota are playing most of the same teams as well. We all play all the NFC East and all of the AFC North.
Put that in your sausage and smoke it.
There's some good teams in those leagues.
Minnesota has the lightest schedule of everybody, and that's somewhere I'm remember working from a visual in my memory. That's somewhere around like 10th or 12th, and Green Bay is somewhere around 7th or 8th is the strength of schedule. So, and the thing about Green Bay, this is the thing, it really is, as Easy Does It says, they went all in, and they're still not as good as the Lions. They are all in. They don't have 2 first-round picks the next 2 years. Like, if this isn't it, and if you think you're a Micah Parsons away, you said it in the short, Riz, but my wife was asking about it. And I was saying the same thing. I'm like, they are not Micah Parsons away from a Super Bowl. And now the players away they are, it's gonna be a heck of a lot harder to get them.
And what they paid him and what they're paying Jordan Love restricts what they can do in free agency to make up for those draft picks. Yep. That's one area where the Lions have been pretty fortunate in paying all these guys, and they're going to pay Hutch, and they're going to have to pay Hutch at least $45 million a year, probably a little bit more than that.
Yep.
I don't think he can credibly ask for what Micah got because Parsons has been doing it longer and been more prolific at it.
Yep.
But you can't lowball Hutch either. But the fact that the Lions can keep cycling through these things and they don't have to overpay for free agents on the market to come in,
It's everything.
And man. This was actually one of the things that we talked about on the radio today is, where's the window with it? And when you pay Hutch and you pay Brian Branch and you pay Jahmyr Gibbs and you pay J-Mo and you pay Lamar, again, and it just keeps cycling over. One of the things that happens when you're strapped against the cap is you can't pay good free agents. Like, the Lions were in great enough shape this year that they were able to go out and get DJ Reed.
Yeah.
That's not going to be able to be happening anymore, but that's also not going to be able to be Green Bay's reality either. They're, instead of getting DJ Reed, they're going to be getting Jeff Okudah, like your reclamation projects or guys coming off of multiple years of injuries, things like that. You're not going to be able to sign those veterans unless they're like end of the line ring whores, which there's a place for them.
Yeah.
But you're not going to get the premium guys, and you're going to replacing them with your comp picks in the 3rd and 4th round. Can't miss those picks. Can't miss those picks anymore, Brad.
Yeah.
Can't. No more developmental players. I thank God that he said that the other day. And he said it within the context of like, if it's the right player, it'll be okay. But we all got the message sitting in the room.
And they put and they spent all that money and capital on a guy that has to face Penei Sewell twice a year. That's like, not really shooting at the weakness here, are we? We're not. It's like, okay, strength against strength, fine, but I don't know, man. I don't know. He hasn't done well against Penei.
He's got a minor back injury, but let's go back to last year. Dallas, week 6, was it 5, 6, whenever it was when Hutch got hurt. Micah Parsons playing that game? No. Something to think about.
Yep.
Would he have helped them? And I think the game was 47-9, right? Correct me if I'm wrong, Einstein, here in the comments, but I think it was a 47-9 game. Does Micah Parsons make that big of a difference? I don't know. Like, does he help? The Lions have won, 3 of the last 4 in Green Bay?
Yep.
Does Micah Parsons make that much of a difference? Oh, by the way, they lost their, I want to call him their best defender, but Kenny Clark was a big part of that defense. Kenny Clark specifically was good against the Lions.
Yeah. Yeah.
Pretty good player.
He always found his way.
It's interesting to me. The Packers fans are like, oh, good riddance. We didn't need that. Like, yeah, you did. Like, he's good.
Yeah.
He made your linebackers better. I like Edgerrin Cooper, their middle linebacker. He's a good one. He's a very good player. His life was made easier by Kenny Clark in front of him, just as Anzalone and Campbell specifically benefit from having DJ Reader and Aleem McNeil and now Tyreek Williams in front of them. That makes their life so much better. And I worry, if I were a Packer fan, I would be a little bit concerned that maybe my linebacker-oriented defense, which is what they are, that's where their best players are, if you don't have a great enough line in front of them, good offensive lines, and Detroit's is still good, is going to be able to go out and attack you. Yep. And you can't really do a lot about it. So, Micah Parsons make their pass rush really good. He's a great player, no doubt about it. But the dynamic that they had has changed, and it's changed overnight.
Yep.
They've had a week of practice with this, a week to get used to not having their best lineman in the middle of their line. Who are they replacing with? I don't know. How are their linebackers going to read off these guys? That's a different dynamic. And now you're going against a team with running backs like the Lions, with tight ends like the Lions, with guys on the perimeter who block like the Lions have. It's a really bad time to play the Lions with that dynamic going on. It absolutely shifted my pick, ironically enough. I probably was going to take the Packers in this game because it's in Green Bay and open, and they're a good team.
The power of the coin flip. Right?
Because of the way that the apple cart has been upset, I'm very strongly leaning Lions now. And maybe the flip side would be, if they played this game in a month, I might be more inclined to take Green Bay. But the timing for it, like, you just dropped a bomb in the middle of their defense. Mm-hmm. How do they repair that? I don't know, man.
Oh God, it's good. It's good stuff. National media dragging the Lions. We'll see what the choice is. Again, we'll go back kind of really a couple bullet points. Lions are always best as an underdog, and you give Dan Campbell the opportunity to be an underdog, he's gonna seize that. The other part is with this much time to get ready for the first game of the season, this is a team that even during the regular season, the amount of time that these coaches spend in Allen Park at the facility overnight, sleeping there, the work they do to prep for a game, to now have all this extra time to prep for this game, it's gonna be. And it's going to be fine. This team is going to come out. We're going to play just right. It's going to be just fine. Then we'll talk about what it means and what it looks like for the Lions going on. But I have no fear about this, the Micah Parsons, and I would not listen to what the national media nuts are saying, because it's until we see the injuries come back like last year, which we're not going to. That's just such a crazy kind of a thing. We're not going to see that, and if the only way we kind of fall off this season is if we have that same kind of injury luck. So I'm not worried. The national media is setting us up. The other side of it is they get to come back and say, "Whoa, what a surprise!" And a fan base like Detroit is the perfect fan base to set up like that. Whereas the Cowboys, if you talk crap about them right out of the gate, they're not going to come out bounce back. They're just going to throw crap at you all the time, right? Or Philadelphia, right? All they want to do is drag balls. So they know they can play this game with Detroit and the Detroit fans, and it'll actually wind up with more clicks in the end. So there you go.
I don't even know if it's like, speaking from the media side of things, we don't get a lot of clicks from that. I have found, and I've had this conversation with a few other people that depend on clicks and attention for being always negative or being controversial to be controversial. It's not worth it.
Got to be good at it.
It doesn't. Yeah.
Look at there's a certain person on the radio in Detroit who does that and does a good job at it. And he's made a multiple decade career doing it. You know what I mean? So in Detroit. Carries the whole station.
Yeah,
so
talking about them, it works. But yeah, it's a difficult way to go about things.
Yeah,
I've actually had that conversation with. It's at the level that I'm at, where publishing online like I do, like Risdon, like Raven, Nolan Bianchi, we all have experienced and agree that being honest and focusing as much on the positives as the negatives does very well. Positive pieces tend to do very well, especially when everybody else is negative.
Yeah.
And that's, Detroit's a different market in that than Houston was, than Cleveland is. And it's always interesting learning the dynamics of the local fan base.
My thought. You guys shouldn't be talking about or sharing about how you cover, but I know you guys are doing it more in a meta version than a specific story version, right? So it's different. But that's one of the things absolutely. That like you guys are competitors. Not that you can't be collegial and friends and all that stuff, but when it comes to the coverage, do not collude. Don't collude.
You got to have your own thing. Yeah. If you don't have your own thing, you're heavy.com.
Well,
you're stealing.
When you coordinate stories, it's the same thing as creating bullshit controversy. You know what I mean? And that's the thing. It happens. I know it happens, and it's a sad reality.
You try to ask a question that isn't really a question, and Brad Holmes craps on you.
that's worth it for the entertainment value, actually. But anyway, okay, we've got that.
I just say that was one of the most uncomfortable times I've ever been in a media room. And it was because the media was the problem and not the person.
The team.
Like, Jim Caldwell hated us without reason. Like he purposely chose that the media was going to be his enemy, and made it that way. And okay, you learn how to manage those in press conferences. I dealt with Freddie Kitchens a little bit. Freddie Kitchens wanted everybody to be his drinking buddy, and that doesn't work either. But when you're given a chance to ask a question, ask the freaking question. Don't assume that the guy understands, can read your mind especially, dude. But
Yep.
Come on, man.
Jeff Merrill, thank you, sir, for the super chat. If we only had a premier pass rusher, media would want to gush over us. If only we had one. Oh, God. Thank you, Jeff. Appreciate that super chat.
Chris, Chris, Aiden Hutchinson played in 5 games last year.
Mm-hmm.
How long did he lead the league in pressures?
Twice as many weeks as he played.
That's exactly right. Who was one of the guys that was trying to catch him?
The guy's
new Messiah.
The guy who got there in twice as much time. So there you go.
No.
If you do the math, he's half as good. That's all you need to know.
Micah Parsons, that's a really good football player. And
still
it does bug me. It does bug me that Lions fans are like, oh, he's not going to matter. Like, yeah, he's a good player, guys.
He's a good player, but he comes with
them.
a lot. He comes with a lot. Like,
yes.
He's not 100%. He's not a Lion. Like the grit piece,
right.
the whole thing. He's not that. He's a hell of a player,
right.
But he's got diva mode. And
yes, he does.
We can help him activate that.
He does. He does indeed have. He's not always the easiest teammate to be around, including in the showers. That's
yep.
Go back to Penn State. That's one of the reasons why the Lions weren't interested in him back then. You can Google the stories; they're true.
That and the other stuff.
Been verified by Penn State teammates that happened. What you will see that's not safe for work.
Yeah. You're gonna be a little more comfortable in the shower because you should shower after every game and every practice. All right, let's move on. Let's roll on to the next thing. Gotta let people know.
We got the Hutch rule. Yes, thank you, Joshua Zook. We got the Hutch rule.
Amazon.
In fact, Houston and Miami respected it too.
Amazon.DetroitLionsPodcast.com. They had no choice. Amazon.DetroitLionsPodcast.com. Get all your shopping done there. It costs you nothing more. Gives us a couple pennies on the side, and it takes it out of Jeff Bezos' pocket. And helps us out. Helps the show do something, by doing something you were going to do anyway. Amazon.DetroitLionsPodcast.com. Do all your shopping there. A lot of stuff coming up for that. So thank you all for continuing to support the show. All right. Our question marks. I would get to our question marks, but I have to talk about Accelerator. Really, Accelerator. God, why can't I read Accelerator? Get it? $2. Thank you for the super chat, my friend. My honest prediction: Lions 75, Packers 3. I think you're underselling the Lions, my friend.
Unbridled optimism is awesome. I love it. In these trying times, we need more unbridled optimism in the world.
Yeah. All right. Let's get to it. Our question marks for 2025. I'm just gonna start, Riz, because it's the obvious one, and we can maybe do some back and forth on this. Can we do it without the injuries? Can we get through this season without the injuries like last year? I think the answer is absolutely yes. But if we were to see a repeat of something like last year, there's a fundamental something is going on, whether it's strength and conditioning, whether it's practice, something is going wrong that is hurting these players. The question mark there is then, is it that, or was this just the luck of the Lions last year that kind of took us out and we'll recover? That's the one big one I have. And if we can get over that, yeah, I think everything looks really bright for this team.
And I think that you can't ignore that Brad Holmes has an affinity for drafting players with spotty injury histories. We've already lost 2 of them this year, Onwuzurike and Rakestraw. Both had a lot of college injuries, and they're both out for the year already. Last year, one of the answers at outside cornerback was Emmanuel Mosley. Played 4 plays in 2 years. Ifeatu Melifonwu missed 6 weeks with a finger that wasn't broken. It's hard to do.
I got a sore finger too, Riz. No.
I broke this finger. I blocked a volleyball. It snapped my finger almost in half. I taped to the finger next to it and finished that tournament.
There you go.
Not saying I'm tougher than Iffy, but I'm not sure he'd do that. The conditioning thing is always weird to me because I've seen this happen. The Houston Texans did this after they had their rash of injuries with J.J. Watt and Brian Cushing and Connor Barwin and Arian Foster and all these guys who got hurt a lot. And they did it. They did what a lot of Lions fans want. They cleaned house. They brought in all new training. They brought in people that had trained Olympians. They brought in nutritionists. They put a special turf into their training facility. They did everything they could. The injury still happened. It helped a little, but it didn't do much. It didn't have the desired outcome of making all these guys who play a violent game, they still got hurt.
Yep.
And that's one of the reasons why I tend to default against it, because I have seen this. I covered that team, and it didn't work. And the people in Houston were sort of like, well, what do we do now? Well, maybe first off, quit signing injury-prone people. Secondly,
the bullshit.
Maybe in a blowout game when you're winning 27-8 with 3 minutes to go, sit your starters. Bill O'Brien. Dan Campbell. Dan Campbell's been somewhat guilty of that, playing starters too long in games. That's one of my criticisms of Dan. I hope that he sees some light in that. There's no reason for Brian Branch to be playing in the fourth quarter of that Dallas game last year where we're winning 47-9.
Right.
Sit him down. What are you going to lose from it? Put Vaki back. Well, Vaki's hurt now too. Put him back there.
All right, Riz, what's your number one question mark for the Lions in 2025?
My biggest concern is how do they handle the change in the interior offensive line, because it's all new. And it was really, really good last year, even with Graham Glasgow playing largely terrible left guard. Kevin Zeitler was such a solid veteran. And I'm happy that he proved me right, because when he came here, I said, you're never going to notice him until you watch the game tape and you see that he never loses a rep. He doesn't always win them and doesn't win them with gusto, but he never loses. And they don't have that now. And Frank Ragnow, we all love Frank. Frank struggled a little bit with power, but his ability to get out in space and engage in the run game was non-pareil. He was incredible at it. Graham Glasgow, what do we know about him when he gets out into space? He runs right past his target way too many times. It happened all the time last year.
Yeah.
His highlight tape from 2024 is him going and helping up Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery after they just got tackled by the guy he was supposed to block. It's a very fair criticism of Graham Glasgow last year. Now, some of that said he was at left tackle or left guard and not right guard or center, but he wasn't very good at center in Denver either. So there's some concern about that. I think Christian Mahogany is going to be a boss. I think he's going to be better than Jonah Jackson was.
I'm threatening.
I think it's going to happen right away.
Right now, I'm just putting it out there with Graham. I'm going to go find that Muppets Pigs in Space drop. And we're gonna have it ready to go if things don't go well. Like, we need to see something different this year, because we don't want to be hearing, pigs in space, because that means things are going way wrong. And that question just got answered.
But Glasgow, he looked so much better at the end of camp than he did at the beginning of camp. And I think some of that was that he learned to trust, especially to his left side. Mahogany's ready. There's no doubt about it. And I actually talked to one of the Texans defensive linemen after, and I asked him, tell me about these guys. It's like, Rat's tough, man, but Mahogany can go. Like, yep, okay, that's what I need to hear.
Lay the wood.
The game tape that's playing in my head now of Mahogany blocking in camp, it jives with that.
Man.
Ratledge is a rookie. He's going to have some rookie moments. Be prepared for that. But he's got Panay to his right. He's got Graham to his left. He can't have many better situations where you're getting veteran leadership around you. We know he's getting very well coached. I will add, I think Coyote Aoshika stepped up as a presence in terms of like helping the younger guys a little bit this year. I saw some of that from him. I didn't know that he had that in him. So good for him.
Really quick, Detroit fan man with, remember when Mahogany's legs weren't the same length? They still aren't. That's what caused him to fall. But, you know, his play.
I just don't know that.
You don't know that?
I don't know that. I don't know that.
The idea is, you know, measurables are a big thing, and that's why he fell the way he did to kind of an unexpectedly low spot. And the athleticism and how he plays hasn't changed. So he still has the same ability to play, right? I mean, and everybody has anomalies with their body. No one's perfectly symmetrical from side to other, right? But that was one that cautioned some people. Yeah. And you think about you know, the chatterbox, the back room, you know, oh, did you hear about this? Oh, did you hear about this? That kind of stuff is contagion for one team. Oh yeah, they would have taken him, but they heard about this. And then, oh, well, maybe we should think about it too. And people start, you know, following the lead on that a little bit. It's the case, but he's showed that isn't going to stop him or his ability at the pros. And that's good to hear. Like, you know, oh God, what was his name? The quarterback with the small hands, the gloves that went to Pittsburgh. We got a picture. Yeah, we had a picture of him wasn't Kenny Pickett? Yeah. We had a picture of him holding the Gatorade. Colin got it to check his hand size because
Yes, we did. Oh my God, I forgot about that.
And we started asking people to do the math on the circumference of the
bottle. I forgot all about that. Oh my God. That absolutely happened. I remember that now. Thank you, Colin.
His non-throwing hand could have been huge, right? You don't know. It's just like things are different. So that's the world we live in.
Yeah. God, I forgot about the good times, man.
Well, Hutch is the shortest arms.
The draft stuff, man. The first question you should ask yourself when you're watching a draft prospect: can he play football?
Whoa. That seems a little bit over the top.
I know that seems, but some, especially the analytical-based draft teams, don't do a very good job at that, it seems. One of them happens to be Minnesota, which is why, you know, I give them a lot of credit because they've got some very good players, but imagine if they drafted anybody at all in 2022 and 2023 who's still on the team. I don't think they did.
Yeah. Jeff Merrill is channeling me. He'd like to check and see if Sydney Sweeney is symmetrical. I have no question that there would be a long line.
She is.
What's her name?
She's healthy.
What's her name? Bonnie Blue.
The
line will be longer than Bonnie Blue's. Okay, so let's keep going to talk about things like question marks for 2025. I've got one in specific, and it's been talked about a little bit, but kind of more broad terms. We think about our new coordinators. I'll start with, I'm not worried about Calvin. I'm not worried, and I'll be the first. We talked about this. I was a little bit unsure about if Calvin was ready, and I really wanted another year of seasoning on him before he took the step. You know, I said that when this happened, Riz. You know, that's where I was at. But everything I've seen, I was wrong on that. He absolutely has gained my confidence for sure, which is meaningless as it is. I am confident in what he can do. He's shown that he is absolutely capable and ready for that role. And you know, I mark me wrong on that paper. The one I am worried about though is Johnny Moe. And I want to see, right? I want to see him come into it. I don't know if we're in a case where they're kind of holding him a little bit close because it is truly a group effort and there's a lot of people involved and they don't want to just let him loose early, or if they're not certain about what they're seeing, right? So it's just, as we said, a question mark. I'm not saying he's not good. I'm not saying something's wrong. It's just he hasn't been given the keys to the semi to go flying down the freeway. And I don't know if it's a reason or if that's a style thing for Dan and company. So we'll see what that is. But I need Johnny Moe to come up and show me that he is that offensive coordinator that's going to make us all forget about what Ben Johnson did.
I think that's perfectly fair. And I think one of the national narratives is that they look, okay, where was he a coordinator?
Yep.
2017 New York Jets. Yep. That team's awful.
Yeah.
They were led by a McCown brother and a wide receiver who's changed his name out of embarrassment for how bad those Jets were. He did. Might not be related to why he changed his name, but he did.
Yes. Yes.
Chosen now. I think his last name's Chosen now. I can't keep track of these things, but if that's the only body of work you're going to look at, you're going to ignore what he did with Bo Nix last year. You're going to ignore how good he's looked in understanding being part of the Sean Payton tree, which is Dan Campbell's tree. I don't get this doom and gloom. Like it's perfectly fair to question him.
It's the question mark, right? It's not a knock, but it's a question mark.
But with all the talent that's on the team, it would take him to try and actively tank things for it to fall apart. Like worst case scenario, this is the 5th best offense in football as the floor, and that's if he's terrible. Like throw injuries out the window, but schematically, much of it's the same. You're going to see more based on what we watched in practices and training camp. There's a little bit more spacing down the field, and Goff is going to have to be willing to throw the ball down the field more.
And
I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing.
Well, right, but this is where it's at. The question mark of, how I laid it out, but then you throw the additional question mark of the offensive line that you laid out. How is he going to be able to adjust, and what does that mean? And he's going to have to adjust.
Yes,
Ben Johnson had reasons to some of his adjustments were just out thinking himself and some silliness like that caused some problems. I don't think we're going to get that from Johnny Moe, but again, I'm a little bit of a show me place on this. I don't think it's doom and gloom. I don't think it's a problem. I think it's a question mark, and it's something that I feel like you can get a better sense on the defense. They're not showing you the offense in the preseason or anything. Like it's just not. You're not seeing what's really coming. It's always a little bit of a surprise when they get on the field, and that's where, like I said, it's a question mark, and we'll see how it goes. I'm hoping for the best, and I'm hoping, like I said, he makes us forget about Ben. But I have to. As a Lions fan, you always just have a little bit of anxiety about things, and that's one of the things that the boxes I need checked to make it go away.
And that's perfectly fine to be anxious about it, but to think that it's all going to fall apart,
no,
because that's just not realistic.
It's more the national media saying it's going to fall apart.
Yeah.
And they're saying that both offense and defensively, and I think that's, again, they're basing it on Philadelphia. Like they've got drawing a line with one dot, and that's the half. But
Philly's the defending champs. They deserve the respect.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that they got better this offseason either.
When they lost their coordinators, they probably deserve more respect than they got too, and then they proved out that maybe they didn't deserve the respect that they got. So we'll see. There's a lot to come out here.
Yeah, there's a lot of things to like, even with the questions. Because the questions, just because it's a question doesn't mean that it's going to be a negative answer.
Right.
It might get answered positive. It might be better.
Right.
I don't think anybody in the national media has ever considered the fact that it might actually go better.
Yep.
One of the things that Chicago media has already picked up on is that Ben Johnson loves to run throwaway plays to set things up for later.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You can't do that if you're not winning, or you don't have a defense that you can rely on, or you don't have playmakers that can make the play later. And we saw that in Detroit a lot.
Trappin' 68
John Morton doesn't do that.
in the chat right here has it very well and succinctly laid out. I guess count me in the minority, but I'm looking forward not to having to depend on trick plays. And that's the word there, depend, is the most crucial word, because we won a number of games because of trick plays. Trick plays are a great piece of the playbook, but I don't want to have to depend on them to win a game. That's flukish. That feels like the old Bengals with Boomer and, in the old days, right? It just feels like, this is fool's gold. It's just gonna go south sometime. They're gonna outthink themselves and do a bunch of dumb shit, right?
Just play football.
Yeah,
you've got the horses. You don't need to
ride.
You don't need all the eye candy all the time. Just let them play.
Yeah. All right,
but don't ignore the trick play. Like, keep it like maybe.
Don't shy away. Yeah.
Yeah, like pulling it out on a special occasion at a completely unexpected time. It's the nobody expects a Spanish Inquisition type of play. You can get away with that, but when the other team is like savvy to your trick plays, and like when Chris Myers of all people, and I believe he's actually on the broadcast this weekend, which sucks, is like, well, they can run this trick play out of this. We're like, dude, if Chris Myers can see it, the defense can probably maybe try to, again, instead of adding a sixth lineman in Skip or Manu or whoever it might be, and have them run a pass route, put J-Mo in the backfield. Put Gibbs and Monty in the formation together in the backfield. Motion them out. See what happens to the defense then. Football. Not chicanery. You don't need it. It's fun to have it every now and then. Hell yeah, it is. You don't need it when you've got this much talent.
Chicanery. What was the song? There's a Marilyn Manson, Dope Hat. Is that where they use chicanery? I don't know. Anyway, let's go. Last question mark for you, Riz. Do you have any others that jump out at you?
I don't like the drugs, but the drugs like me. It's my favorite Marilyn Manson song. Love that song. Other question marks. Yeah, I have a couple.
Go ahead.
I worry about regression from our safeties because Brian Branch is at a critical point, and Gerby led the league in interceptions last year. He could do it again, but he might not. Both of them play I don't want to call it reckless, but it's certainly dangerous style that can leave them vulnerable to injury, but also vulnerable to getting beaten badly on a play. And based on my experience in watching Kelvin Shepard compared to Aaron Glenn, Kelvin's more apt to let them take those risks than AG was. So I worry some that they're going to give up big plays because, and again, they are the best safety duo in the league. They are two of the 5 best safeties in football. I will accept no other arguments, but they might not be as all-world in 2025 as they have been because, and this is where I talk about, AG was a defensive back. He saw the defense through defensive back eyes. Kelvin is a linebacker. He sees the defense through linebacker eyes. And I've actually talked to a couple of the linebackers about this, and they're like, yeah, it's spectacular. He understands what we are looking for in a play. I don't think the defensive backs get that as much. And there might be a little bit of a drop-off in their playmaking ability because of that. Will the linebackers be able to compensate for that? Will the healthy front be able to compensate for that? I hope so. I don't know so. I certainly believe so, but like you, Morton, I kind of need to see it a little bit. And that again, that's no disrespect at all to Kirby and Branch, but it's a different dynamic and how they adjust to the defense being run by a linebacker instead of a defensive back. That's different. Mm-hmm. So, and I will say schematically, it feels like they're actually being asked to do more than less. Now, the upshot is DJ Reed's better than Carlton Davis, and Terran Arnold is vastly improved overall in his ability to not hold at the line, an ability to work transition zones with the defensive backs, with the safeties, if a guy's crossing the field, their transitions in coverages, not so much in zone, but in man, so much cleaner than they have been. So there's ways to offset it, but yeah, I have questions about that. I have questions. We're going to hate this. I have questions if Jake Bates can do it again. I think he can.
Really?
When you
say do it, do you mean hump the football field or?
That was glorious. He missed his first field goal on Thanksgiving last year. I think he was 26 for 29. He made 8 of 10 from beyond 50 yards. All of those are anomaly numbers. Doesn't mean that he can't do it again, but expecting him to do it again might be asking a little bit much. We'll see. I don't know. He was pretty dang good this summer, other than one really bad day where he missed everything, literally everything. He was good again. That's a little one though, because
as long as
if he's not feeling it
when it matters, that's all that matters. You know what I mean? Yeah. He missed the one at 58. Yeah, but we're up by 67 points. Oh, okay, no problem. It's the playoffs. It's the game before the NFC Championship game, and he's got to make a 58-yarder. Oh, he made it. Okay, that's it. It's all I ask is don't miss those.
I know.
Don't miss those.
I'm not too worried about that, but look, I always have anxiety about kickers. You know this, Chris. I had anxiety about Jason Hanson, who's like the best ever. It's just that's a me problem more than it's a Lions problem.
I was the same way with Barry because of so many horizontal and backwards yards. I was always terrified, and it's funny because like a lot of people who watch Calvin are the same thing. They just see this amazing guy and don't realize that they were watching what kind of greatness they were actually seeing in the moment. And it was later in Barry's career before it really hit me. I knew it was great, right? But just how great, because you also had Thurman at that time, Emmitt Smith, right? It was an embarrassment of riches in the NFL of just fantastic running backs right then. But anyway, sorry, I digress, my friend.
The other one other question: the pass rush opposite Aiden Hutchinson. The Marcus Davenport that I watched this summer, day in and day out, is better than anyone could ask for. But can he do it all year? God, I hope so. Because the backup plan right now, Josh Paschal's already hurt, has been hurt all summer. I don't know, man. The new guy that they brought in is... I've watched a little bit, not enough to have a great opinion of him. He seems like a one-trick pony to me. He's certainly capable of proving me wrong. That's Sweat.
Oh, yeah.
That's going to be tough. Now, you can manufacture a pass rush more than you can manufacture pretty much anything else on a team. You can scheme a pass rush, but it takes away from other things when that happens, and I hope that the Lions don't have to do that.
Yeah.
It sounds like, the Zadarius Smith white whale that's out there. Brad Holmes told us why he's not on the team when he did his interview on the flagship probably about a month ago. Like what he wants and what the Lions are willing to give are nowhere close. And that doesn't appear to have changed. I will say the Lions, specifically the coaching staff, and this is more of a coaching thing than a Brad thing, they freaking love Marcus Davenport and believe in him more than fans would probably be comfortable with. And probably more than I'm comfortable with.
It sounds like he's done a lot of work to get his body prepared and anti-injury prone, if you will, this year. The team's probably worked a lot with him. He's done the work on it. Maybe it's well-founded. I hope it's well-founded, right? But hope isn't a plan. But if he's healthy, him and Hutch together, dude, it's a fantastic pair. It's an absolutely fantastic pair, and it's
crushing the can and slamming it.
Yes,
it's beautiful.
Yep.
When it works, it's beautiful. And Derek Barnes as a edge / Sam / off-ball linebacker moving piece around has been a revelation this summer. He's going to get a lot of sacks, folks. He's very capable of having a very big year that would be commensurate with his contract, probably make him underpaid in some eyes. Because he's not that right now. And I think that Kelvin Shepard knows specifically how to use him very well and did. And if you don't believe me, you can ask the Miami Dolphins reporters who were there, because he destroyed their offense in the first team reps. Like, they could do nothing against him.
We got,
oh, by the way, he's our third best linebacker.
It's going to be fun. That's going to be fun. Eisenhart in the chat. He's so goddamn ready for this season to kick off. I want to hear it. If you are too, hit us in the chat right now. FTP. Give us the FTP if you are ready for football right now. Right now. God dang it, I am. All right. With that, let's move on to the next topic really quick. Speaking of the old FTP, previewing the Packers and the Lions. A little bit of the Packers here. I want to just talk about really quick the lines on the game. I got it right here. Then my phone shut off. Okay, here we go. We got the Lions plus 2.5. The over is 47. The under is 47. Interestingly, sorry. It's silly.
Is it 110 on both of those too?
Yep, of course.
Yeah, so they don't know.
Yeah. Lions plus 115 on the money line, and Green Bay minus 135.
It's basically the sports book begging you not to bet on the game.
Yep. It's like, we're all breaking even
We're
here
giving
today.
you no juice on this game. You will win nothing for this game. Don't bet. Go somewhere else. That means that they don't know what's going to happen. That's their unknown. When you see a 110 number, that means they don't know. Especially if it's on both sides.
We got a lot of people ready for some football in the chat. All right, so there it is.
Good.
All right, Riz, let's let you kick off the preview. I'm going to run through all these folks giving us the FTP signal that they are ready for some football. What is your preview kind of look at this breakdown?
I think that the Lions are going to come out and John Morton's going to show you that he is capable of doing everything that Ben Johnson did with this offense and all the toys and Jared Goff. And I think they're going to take advantage of a discombobulated, frantically remade, overhauled Packers defense that hasn't had time to gel at all with their new pieces. And I think they're going to run very effectively. Play action will be there. I don't know about the Packers' corners. I don't know that they're bad, but I don't know that they're good either. Their middle-of-the-field defense is, even without Kenny Clark, is pretty solid. They've got some players there. Like, that's a good football team. But I think that you're going to see the Lions attack and show people we're still the kings of the North until anybody else beats us. They're not worried about it being in Green Bay. They might like it in Green Bay. The fact that it sounds like the weather's going to be fairly decent too, like in the upper 60s. I think that the Lions go out and outscore them. I do think on Green Bay's side, I think they're going to be able to take advantage of some of the things that the Lions defense is trying to do. And if they get over aggressive, Jordan Love can escape. They do have guys that are relatively healthy right now. I kind of like Marcus. I like Jaden Reed a lot, although it appeared that he didn't practice today. They've got decent weapons, but they don't have the quantity of the quality of weapons that Detroit has. Yeah. I think they'll score some, but I think the Lions will score more.
Who has a defense? And we're going to find out this year. And so it's going to come down to play calling on this. But who has a defense that can stop Amon-Ra, Laporta, Tesla, J-Mo, Jameer, Monty? like how? Yeah. Well, pick your three that you're going to put your very best four players on, right? Because you're going to top stack one of the wide receivers, J-Mo, right? And then what? You're still getting eaten up. You're still getting eaten up.
And the fact that Jared Goff is smart enough and humble enough that he'll find the best matchup, and that the receivers, by and large, don't care. Like, I believe Amon-Ra when he says, you know, if Leaf goes off for 100 yards and I catch 2 passes, I'm good with that as long as we win. I believe him.
Yeah.
Laporta's that way. He's certainly that way. If Jared Goff is anywhere close to the Jared Goff we've seen for the last 2.5, 3 years, this offense is going to be ridiculously good, no matter who's coordinating it, no matter who's calling the plays.
Yep.
Talent is there.
It's fantastic. It's really fantastic.
It's greatest show on turf style talent. It really is.
And last year, through both injury and quality of players, we were nowhere near what we were on the defensive side of the ball as we walk into this year. You know what I mean? This is again crazy. The whole plan of we're going to outscore them and then we're going to do our damnedest not to let them score. That do the damnedest part is going to be a heck of a lot better this year. I think we're going to be a lot better. And I think you might see that wish come true more often this year of starters getting some time to relax. Sorry about your fantasy points, guys, but the ball's going to get spread around and then guys are going to be able to sit because you don't need to put them in that kind of jeopardy and you can just play and win. It's going to be wild. It's going to be a wild year. But against these Packers, I want to ask you, there's the Micah Parsons and Adrian Hutchinson. I told you Micah is half as good. Just using the stats, right? I'm just using statistics and the numbers to prove it. I'm not doing a subjective thing here. Which do you rather have on both teams? Both teams, right? So if they could have Hutch and we could have Micah, and then they with Micah, and then, this whole thing. Think about it.
I like Hutch because I think he does more. I think Parsons is a better pass rusher. He's better at getting to the quarterback quicker. I'll default to the Packers on that. Hutch is a much better run defender, much better team defender. He can play in space better. He can actually step backwards. I'm not sure Micah Parsons can go backwards. Again, that's not how they used him in Dallas, so maybe he can. I don't know, but
he can't cover skipper.
I love where Hutch is at. I love where Hutch is at right now. And the fact that he's got something to prove too.
Yeah.
And he's downplayed it. You can tell though. Mm. He knows.
He's hungry.
He was the defensive player of the year last year. And it got taken from him.
Yeah. And he's a businessman. Beyond look, he's 100% football player. And I don't want to take anything away from that, because he is 150% football player. But he's also a businessman and he understands what that defensive player of a year, a Super Bowl, that big season, what that means for his stock and his brand more broadly. He knows what that means. He's got a media team. He's got the whole thing. He's the whole package. And it's not very many guys you see. Like you get the Sanders boys who a lot of media, right? And then we'll see what else, is there to back it up, and the media kind of gets the way. It's not like that. Football first with Hutch, but the whole business side is absolutely a key portion of what he is. He's hungry. He is hungry, and he wants that Hutch brand to be numero uno, and he will do that through playing numero uno football. So I'm excited to see the rage come out this year. I think we're going to see way better balance. We'll still have the bend, but the balance that we're going to see out of him this year, I think, is going to be fantastic because of specifically what he had to work on to rehab and how he had to do it. I think we're going to see such a much more rounded, precise, technical player in Aiden Hutchinson. And as wild and good as he was last year, you put that kind of technical prowess on there and it's fucking unstoppable. It's going to be crazy, man. Hutch is going to be wild, man.
Again, I'll just default back to the fact that the Dolphins and the Texans both bought into the Hutch rule right away so they could get through a scrimmage against our defense.
Yep.
And you can bag on those offensive lines all you want, and that's certainly Houston's biggest question. But they got it right with Ariante Ursery, who's going to be their left tackle. And, the fact that C.J. Stroud was just come on.
The bionic werewolf, Kenyatta's calling him. Okay, we got some time constraints here, Mr. Risdon. I want to ask you for your pick and give me some numbers. What do you think this game's going to turn out?
All right, so it's funny that you say this because the over-under is 47.5.
47 even.
47 even. Oh, they really don't want you to bet on this game. Wow. I picked earlier today Lions 26, Packers 20. And I think that it will come down to which defense can get off the field on third downs better. Let's rewind to last year. All the injuries. Guess who the number one third down defense was in 2024? The Detroit Lions were the best third down defense, playing 25 guys at least 100 snaps. No other team played more than 20. They're doing something right there. They know how to bring the pressure when they need to get off the field. I think that's going to make a difference against Green Bay, and I think that's why they win.
Okay.
Third down defense.
There you go. I'm going to go 27-13. I'm going to go with the under on this because I think the Lions are going to run the ball a lot. They'll be successful, but they're going to run the ball a lot. They're not even going to show off the air raid that stands out there. That's going to be saved for some of the other teams. There'll be spurts and some stuff, but I think they're going to beat up this undersized defense. Micah is going to be behind the runner all day in the backfield, and we're going to have a wild game with a little bit lower score on the under, but I think the Lions defense is going to hold. So 27-13, I see the Lions on top in Lambeau Field.
1-0.
That's right.
In the division to start. And then I wonder how many national pundits will be like, we've made a huge mistake in picking Green Bay. We have ignored how good Detroit is. I want that to be, it's not going to happen, but I want that to happen next Monday, Tuesday. I would love for that to happen.
I just, the thing that comes out of this, to take, we talked about how much we hate a division game as the first game of the season, but to walk away 1-0 in the division after the first game, that's just one in the pocket, man. That's just like,
it is.
It sets a hell of a tone and takes just a little bit of pressure off. You know what I mean? As the season goes on. And I think that it lets you play a little looser. You know what I mean? So there's something to be said for that. It'll be fun to see. Don Burr has 23-17 Detroit over the Packers. All right, my man. That feels like a show. That feels like you might just have yourself some fantasy draft coming up in 4 minutes. So let's roll. I want to make sure you get there for it, and you do all the good stuff that you got to do. Remember, don't forget about us on the Patreon, patreon.com/Detroit Lions Podcast. We'll have a post-game show for you. Me and Michael Gray will be there. New phone number this year, so if we're in your contacts, you're going to need to change that. Be ready for that in the game, on the show. And we'll be live. We'll take your calls, all that kind of good stuff as well. Post-game show right after the game, no question. Follow us on Twitter at Jeff Risdon and at DET Lions Podcast. All the show notes, when we're going, where we're going. If you don't get your YouTube notifications, especially, use that Twitter and put your notifications on for us there. You'll get that. Rock and roll. We're always pants-free as well. Be sure to go to DetroitLionsPodcast.com, subscribe to the podcast, and Riz will do what?
I get to come into your earholes automatically.
Sexy time. All right. Thank you for tuning in. We'll see you next time with the Detroit Lions Podcast. Remember, no pants, no toasters, no hot tubs, and no problems, baby, because we are your Detroit Lions and Reddit Connection FTP.